Hey everybody, and
hey guys,
to the last episode of the Women's Soccer Show for this series. My name's Helen.
I'm Sarah. Sorry, just jumping right in.
So professional, killed it.
Just for the USA people, series over here means like the entire thing, like the entire show. Whereas you mean season, so I just want to clarify. This is the last episode of the season.
I'm learning loads. That's all I'll say. I'm learning loads as we go along.
I've learned loads too.
We had a great interview the other day with the footy fellas, and obviously it was a lot of Americans and me, and I've just realised how far away in the soccer world we are from one another.
Truly. But still so close.
Still so close.
You know?
Still so close.
Yeah.
So far away, but yet within touching distance.
I'm not going to fully go into detail, but we know how much we're synced up right now, Helen.
We do. How has your week been? What you been up to? You good?
I'm good, darling. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, honey.
I will say, all of you who are listening to this, you're listening to it on Wednesday, which is a day later than you usually listen to it, which is normally on Tuesday. And the reason for that is because we had to record a day later because Helen had a amazing weekend. She got to do commentary on the 5th round of the FA Cup, Manchester United versus Leicester City. Helen, you were commentating on national radio.
Yeah. So, oh my God, it was carnage.
Tell us about it.
It was carnage, guys. It was absolute carnage. So basically, rocked up to do the commentary for this game. It was, I actually think we could cover this game in the podcast because it was so good. Leicester, as in just promoted Leicester, beat Manchester United women, a full force Manchester United women, might I add, 3-2. And they came from behind to do so in incredible fashion. Young Shannon O'Brien scored a goal in the 45th minute going into half time, and everyone was like, what the hell? It was crazy. It was like just incredible to watch, really, and I felt really honoured to be there. But little inside scoop, we arrived BBC 5 Live and the system wouldn't connect, and at 11:55 we were going live on national radio, and everybody at Lee Sports Village was running around like headless chicken, like trying to get the wires to work. I'm just stood there
Oh my God.
like don't know what to do in this situation. And then, so I've never done this before. I'm about to go commentary on national radio. My first gig is national, which is like a bit of a big leap. Like I thought I'd do a local.
You were ready for it.
And then, so I hadn't even met the commentator, Bill Rice. We hadn't even had like a proper intro to each other because he was so manic just getting set up. And then it was like, and we got 10 seconds and we're going live. And they managed to fix the system. And then he was like, 5, 4, 3. And then he was like, hello, and I was like, oh my God, we haven't even, I've never done this. What am I supposed to do? I was just sat there.
And that's showbiz, baby.
Showbiz, baby. I was sat there with just all these notes that I didn't end up using because I was just so panicked. It's like everything goes out the window.
I can just picture you with like millions of pieces of paper in each hand, just like throwing them in the air like, I don't even know what to do.
It was carnage. But you know what? I think it took me longer to settle than it usually would for an interview for obvious reasons. Commentary is scary, man, especially when nothing's happening and you just sat there like, what do I say?
Oh, guys, how about the weather today?
And then obviously the added thing of my entire family like live texting me during it, me like switch my phone off and turn it over.
Oh my God.
But it was awesome experience, an incredible first game to commentate on, and I'll be doing more next season, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Hell yeah. From the clips that I've heard, you did a fantastic job. I sadly couldn't get the station over here, but you're going to send me the full audio, right?
I am, and you should check out around the 75th minute if you want to get a nice surprise.
Oh my goodness. Should I?
I say
You
I
say
say
it.
it.
You say it. Can I say it right now? Can I share with everybody?
You can say it. You can say it.
Okay, everybody. Before Helen went on live, I asked her if she would just give me a little shout out, but not in a normal way. I asked her if she could somehow include the words damp squib. Squid? Shit.
Squib.
It's the last episode of the season and I still can't figure it out.
It's
Damp
squib.
I asked her if she would include the word damp squib in the broadcast, and I am so excited to hear this.
Yep. Going out to like 200,000 people. I managed to slip it in for you there, Sarah.
It probably
in
just,
there.
you know, it it probably calmed you down. It made you a little more relaxed.
I built up to it. I'm not being funny. And you know me well enough now because we've been working together so long. You know me well enough that you can hear it in my voice that I'm building up to it. As in the comment before that, I'd been like, Martha Harris is having a great game. And this is not, this is a damp squib.
Damn squib.
No, it was really, really enjoyable. I was so complimented by everybody as well on social media. Thank you so much for your kind words.
You're welcome.
What an entry into the world of commentary to do that game as well, to do a giant killing game, you know, like Leicester City, little old Leicester beating Manchester United women it's a pretty big deal. So
huge deal.
Delighted.
Super happy for you.
Thanks, bro.
Very sad that this is our last episode of the season, but
I feel weird.
I feel weird too, but then I remind myself that I'll still get to see you, and we're going to still do Patreon chats for everybody, so we'll still be creating content for everybody to listen to. But sad, this has been a lovely season.
It has been a lovely season.
And we've got quite an episode for everybody today. Shall we get into it?
So, Sarah, do we say I told you so now, or do we say I told you so later?
I think we can do it now and then also throughout and then also later. I think we can just sprinkle it in everywhere.
Thank you. Which neatly brings us on to Barcelona.
Wow.
Is the greatest club of all.
Helen, you've been saving that this entire season. All of a sudden, you do this. I mean, no offense to your little Around the World jingle, but that was like a next level tune, you know?
No.
We did a super fun thing for this game because usually when we're watching games, Helen and I will send each other audio messages just with our reactions, and that's just how we're communicating. And this time we decided whether it was a good idea or a bad idea.
I think it was a great idea. That's because I've heard the audio clips.
To compile them, download them, and string them all together for you all to listen to. So without further ado, Helen, shall we embarrass me or shall we just get on with it?
Can't wait. First of all, here was Sarah's reaction to the beginning of the game.
It's starting! I just got back in time, turned it on right before kickoff. Here we fucking go. They're doing the lineups. I'm going to hang up now.
Guys, we're not even, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
I'm going to hate myself by the end of this.
I already hate you and we're already 10 seconds in. As you all know, within minutes there were goals. Within seconds there were goals. So here's our reactions to those goals.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Holy shit, Helen. Within the first minute.
I am dying at Helen's audio.
And honestly, my cat ran out the living room at my reaction.
So it's like a high-pitched frequency reaction.
God. We will come back to obviously the goal analysis, but definitely the reaction to the first goal was my most extreme. But it was, I honestly could not, we'll come back to it. Here is how we felt after 4 minutes of the game.
I'm stress eating my chips and my sandwich. Helen, I've rarely seen a team come out on such a strong front foot as Barcelona has, and they just are keeping the pressure on. This is so much fun. Just if Chelsea can't get their head on straight, Barcelona will put another one away, and this game is going to change drastically.
I just want to apologize to everybody because basically from here on out, I think I'm eating chips in all of my audio.
Oh God. So obviously 4 minutes has passed. It's 1-0 to Barcelona, but they were totally dominant. And then there was an absolute moment of genius from Sarah's favourite player. You know who?
Absolutely stunning by Sam Kerr. You see that little flick? I thought it was about to be 1-1.
Did your mother never teach you to eat with your mouth?
It was just one of those things that I was doing out of a stress reaction, and I don't even remember the fact that I was. She taught me. If she hears this, she's going to be really disappointed in me. I'm really
disappointed.
I'm really
and
sorry, Mom.
You.
Genuinely, she's going to be really upset.
This is one of my favourite moments, and I remember this so clearly from the middle of the game because you see something happening. This is why it's great to have other people in your like community that you're living this experience with, even if you're not physically together. Because when you see something happening, you have your own opinion of it. And I completely agree with Sarah's opinion, but you almost have this lived experience when you hear a voice note. So this is Sarah's reaction to the penalty.
Oh no.
Oh my God. I need to see a replay to see if I actually thought that should be a penalty. Here's the replay.
Hansen was able to cut it back towards Hermosa.
No, that's not a penalty kick. I disagree.
Sarah, this is why you're on this show, for that deep, detailed analysis that you are willing to give.
I don't really think we need to do a post-match analysis. I think this is everything.
No! My favourite is when you went, I need to see a replay. Oh, here it is. It's like I'm truly living it with you. Okay, these two are the reactions between goal number 2 and goal number 3.
I really don't have any words. I'm super speechless right now. Like, I know we both thought Barcelona was the better side, but this is unbelievable and so fun to watch too. I guess I did have words. It isn't over till it's over. Am I right?
I would just like to formally get on the record that I had not had anything to drink before this game or during this game.
What time was it for you at 8 p.m?
It started at 3 p.m. my time.
Dude, it sounds like you're absolutely shit-faced. I'm not going to lie. I love that you go, I have no words. Well, that was actually quite a lot of words. Brilliant. So here is the reaction to goal number 3.
Oh my God, right when I said they have to hold him to 2. Barcelona! This is an utter destruction.
I know I truly rate Barcelona, but 22 minutes gone, 3-0 to Barcelona. I didn't rate them this highly. I honestly do genuinely think this isn't like a disgraceful Chelsea performance. As you say, they've attacked loads. I just think that this is a truly magnificent Barcelona performance.
I think I stand by that, Sarah, and we will obviously come on to our analysis in a minute, but I kind of stand by that. It was 3. I still don't think Chelsea had a horrific game.
I fully agree. I agreed when I heard the audio message the first time. I still agree.
Here we go, the final moments of the game.
80th minute, still goalless for Chelsea. I have no words, but this was a dominant performance from Barcelona.
I love that I message you to say that I have no words.
Yeah,
it seems to be the theme.
It's handy information for you to be giving me.
So as good as all of my analysis was in those audio messages, we are about to jump into some actual post-game analysis. Before we do so, our friends, our partners at Total Football Analysis are doing a full match analysis that drops Tuesday. So we've retweeted that. Go ahead and read through it. I love their full analysis. They break down the game from every single perspective, every single angle. Really love it. So go ahead and check that out.
You know what? I think that one of the things I'd like to say first is I doubt that any Chelsea fans will be listening to this, because if anyone is like me and goes through a horrific loss like that, as in, when I say horrific, I don't mean just by numbers, but like something you've wanted so bad, like when England got kicked out of the World Cup, and you know that feeling, you're like, oh, I avoid. So I doubt we'll have any Chelsea fans listening to this. But I just want to say commiserations for the ones, if there are any Chelsea fans that are listening, because you're an amazing team. You've dominated this season. You deserve to be the WSL champions. You've got an amazing set of fans. You've got an amazing club set up, and the sky's the limit.
That was very kind of you.
That's how I feel.
And I would agree. On that note, let's talk about the game. We're going to break it down from the Barcelona perspective, from the Chelsea perspective. I think first and foremost, I want to talk about Chelsea and almost what happened. You mentioned earlier that you genuinely don't feel like this was a bad game for Chelsea. Tell me why you think this wasn't a quote-unquote embarrassment, because I'm sure for some people, they look at the scoreline and they think about how Chelsea was playing. It's obviously not up to the expectations and probably not up to Chelsea's expectations. Why wasn't this a terrible game for Chelsea?
I think the breakdown is like the opening 5 minutes, and we'll move on to that in a minute, but I think the breakdown comes in that opening 5 minutes and it changes the entire game. I don't think that's luck. Everybody's saying that it's luck because of the way that the first goal was scored. For me, it was a magnificent, world-class shot from the edge of the area that then smashes against the bar at such pace that Chelsea didn't really stand a chance. And you have to be in those situations with all those bodies in the box in order to get the ball in the back of the net in the first place. So it's not luck for me, but I think it was just so discombobulating for a team like Chelsea. We spoke about it throughout the game, Sarah. They just didn't expect it. It was like they did not know how to handle not having possession. It was so confusing for them. It took the wind out of their sails. And it was from the first second of the game, and the first 5 minutes killed them.
It truly did. I mean, the first minute of this game was absolutely absurd. Chelsea, they came out on their heels. If you're going to concede a goal that early on in the game, it's because you came out on your heels. And they did. They looked really stunned, really shocked to their core when Barcelona went up. And in a championship game, if you're going to let that affect you like that, the game is over. To finish on Chelsea, I feel like you were saying, you know, it wasn't an utter destruction. You look at the first half, and both teams, in my opinion, really had equal amounts of chances and opportunities on goal. Barcelona were just able to capitalize on their chances. I think their opportunities were more quality than the ones Chelsea was able to create, but they were able to capitalize on them. Chelsea had opportunities. They seemed to be just a half step off the entire game, and they just couldn't capitalize on it. I'm curious, did you feel like they looked tired? Do you think their schedule, and this is not an excuse at all, but do you feel like their schedule played a role in how this game went?
Barcelona play in the Supercopa, they play in the Champions League, they play in the La Liga, they play, it's actually a bigger division, I think, just off the top of my head, than the WSL in terms of the number of teams involved. So no, I don't think it particularly, I think that's a bit, what I will say is Chelsea have had a really tough couple of weeks of run-ins, and obviously they had to win the title on the last day of the season, and we said it 2 weeks ago on the pod, Sarah. Barcelona haven't had that stress for about 3 months because they walked away with the league months ago. So I guess it's a different, the mentality for Barcelona was purely Champions League final, and it has been for weeks, if not months now. I think it kind of comes back or circles around to this thing of Barcelona went into this just quietly confident, and Chelsea went into this going like, we're the best team in the world. And I think that's the difference. And it's like, we talked about Emma Hayes' chats after the league win last week, and she said, we're going to go and win the Champions League now. And the way she was talking, and I hadn't heard from Barcelona camp, and I hadn't seen statements from Barcelona camp, and the only stuff I had seen is them celebrating their semi-final win with absolute joy and elation, and that's all I'd seen. But yeah, to go back to what went wrong for Chelsea, or in the opening half, the opening 30 to 40 minutes, it was simply a case of putting away chances. That, as you say, they had equal amount of chances. Pernille Harder, she'll know herself, I don't have to say it. Pernille Harder had 3 clear-cut opportunities, one of them being the jokey little flick comment that we made a minute ago. Sam Kerr's absolutely excellent flick through, and really needs to put one of them away. And when you consider at the other end what Barcelona were putting away, much more difficult chances through crowds of players, you know that they should have done that. One thing I will say is, and I'd like to give an example if that's all right, and it's a bit of a crazy example because it's just what I was thinking last night. Newcastle United got relegated from the Premier League, and we managed to hold on to all of our really good players. This was a couple of seasons ago, a little while ago. And so all of our good Premier League players were playing in this division below. And on the first day of the season, I confidently went to watch Newcastle versus Fulham. I was looking for it. We're going to smash this lot because we're the better team. And it was a totally different physicality. It was like they were shoving the players off the ball. We lost the game. And we lost the game on strength. And there were little moments that I recognised from that Newcastle game last night. You know, the second goal, where it was just weakness from the fullbacks, the Chelsea fullbacks. You know, you've seen players like Magda Eriksson getting sort of nudged aside. Sorry, move out the way, the ball's mine. She's just shoving her out the way and getting on with her life. And I just wondered whether it was like, is that the Spanish league that's just made them really physical and just made them go, no, not having it. This is my ball. I'm taking it and I'm running with it. Because I think they lost the physical battles all over the pitch.
I totally agree. For me, it just comes down to who wants it more. You look at that game, and for me, Barcelona wanted it more. Like, the WSL is a plenty physical league and with strong athletes. And so for me, it just seemed like all over the pitch, Barcelona were playing like they wanted it more. And coming on to Barcelona, I thought the way they won this game, aside from coming out as strong as they did, which was the game changer, I mean, that's how you win a championship. You mentioned earlier, Helen, that both teams love to have possession. That's how they play. They're going to win because they're going to dominate possession. So this was a battle for control of the ball, and Barcelona won this battle, and they won it in the midfield. The way they were able to shut down Chelsea's midfield, I mean, specifically shut down G, and Leupolz and Ingle were basically obsolete. Putellas, I can't say enough good words about. She is just an absolute world-class player, and she had an incredible game, and that's what a captain of a Champions League winning team should play like and do and act like, and I just can't say enough about how their midfield was able to just dominate. They were able to impose their game on Chelsea, play their little triangles, play out of pressure after they suck you into those triangles, and that was, at the end of the day, it.
I was disappointed for Chelsea because I think both you and I said there's a goal in this for Chelsea, and I think that changes the game. But this is my kind of pessimistic hat going on. It's not a penalty to Barcelona. And for me, it was a penalty for Magda Eriksson for Chelsea later in the game. Do I think Barcelona deserved to win? 100%, tenfold, million%. Yeah, the outcome still would have been the same, I think, because Barcelona are a better team than Chelsea and were just totally switched on from the minute go. But was it a penalty? No. Was Barcelona's third goal, where Martins cuts in on the byline, passes it across, potentially a foul on Chelsea? Potentially. I can't really go either way because it's a 50-50 thing where the referee probably calls it in the middle of the pitch, but when it leads to a goal for a team, they go, oh God, it's the Champions League final. I'm scared. But not a penalty, so that leaves it at 1-0. Potentially not a goal. That means you're going in at half-time at 1-0. It's a different game for Chelsea. But then at the other end of the pitch, Pernille Harder's missing, chances that she puts away week in, week out against Manchester City, Arsenal, against other top teams.
See, in my mind, I can't even go back and look at it like that because I think that the second goal happened because Chelsea put their heads down after the first goal. If they respond differently to the first goal, the second goal doesn't happen, and so on and so forth. So I can't even go back to that. Speaking of that third goal, the beautiful cross in from Martins, I just have to shout out, what a mismatch that we saw in the first half. Martins absolutely destroying Charles down Barcelona's left-hand side. It was an utter mismatch that Barcelona is able to exploit.
One of the players that they would have missed massively is Mariam Yelde. I don't think I even really need to say it because I know that Chelsea fans would have been gutted even going into the final without her, but that really does reduce their sort of defensive options going into the Champions League final. And it kind of neatly brings me on to the depth of the squad, because going into that final, I feel like the media, especially the mainstream media in the UK, were going on about the depth of Chelsea. Who are they going to pick? Who are they going to pick? It's been sort of highlighted even more so because the famous players all play in the same position. They're all the forward players. So I see the 3 or 4 players that are Chelsea to the wider world are Sam Kerr, Pernille Harder, Fran Kirby, and probably Beth England. And so they're all playing in roughly the same part of the pitch. And so they're going, who's going to miss out on the Champions League final, blah, 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 blah. But actually, there are areas I think that Chelsea could grow in, and one of those areas massively is their full-back positions. And then on the flip side, you've got a Barcelona team, 3-0 up, who bring a Schwaller on.
I know, can you believe?
When I saw that she was coming off the bench, I just said to my wife, I was like, uh-oh. She scored, obviously, got a goal disallowed, but that's it. I know it was already game over. It was already game over for them, but she comes on, you just think she's going to be out for blood. When she scored and then it got disallowed, she was like, yeah, like she wanted it so much.
Final note, you touched on this earlier. I think it's really important that we come back to, because of how hyped up it was for Chelsea to be playing in the Champions League final, and that it's a shoo-in and they're going to take it away. And there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle. In my opinion, a lot of it being media and accessibility. So you put out a tweet, Helen, that I just want to read, and we can quickly comment on it because I thought, first of all, it gave us props, which I love. And second of all, I think it summed it up pretty nicely. You said, this season at Super Tornado 3, that's me, and I got criticized after saying it was Barcelona's to lose. We are one of the only pods actively covering all the big leagues, and we watch European games on YouTube week in and out, feeling proud that we stuck to our guns. So that probably sounds pretty self-complimentary of me to read on live air, but I think the point of this is that I think, sadly, we might be in the minority of people who are watching these games and then commenting on it. And I just want to throw it to you to make the larger point, because there were a lot of responses, if you will, to this Twitter thread.
I think the thing that pisses me off is that we are automatically assuming that people who write articles for The Guardian in England, or for The Times, or for the Daily Mail or whatever, are like experts in the entire sphere of like women's football. And I am not an expert, by the way. I'm not an expert. Sarah's not an expert. You know, the guy I sat next to, no offense, the guy I sat next to at, at 5 Live yesterday is not an expert. We are all fans of women's football, and some of us watch more women's football from around the world than others. So, for instance, I guarantee the person from The Guardian has watched more WSL games this season than me. I guarantee that the person from The Telegraph and from the Daily Mail has watched more WSL and, international fixtures than I have. But I could probably guarantee that we've watched more women's Primera Divisione and Mexican League football, and probably more French League football than together combined than most of them. And all of my point is that I'm trying to make is that they are not the be all and end all. And in this world, in women's football, because it's so inaccessible, if you're somebody watching on YouTube, I guarantee you know as much, you are seeing as much as the, in inverted commas, experts in women's football. And so it just kind of frustrates me, because we went into this final and Sarah and I have been going, I don't think it's that clear cut. I don't think it's that clear cut. And you obviously wouldn't have seen it, Sarah, but before it went live, the pundit, who is an ex-Chelsea player, to be fair to her, but she said, Chelsea are going to walk away with this. And then 10 seconds later, the first whistle went. And then 30 seconds after that, Barcelona score and then dominate.
I kind of love that she had to eat her words like that.
And then
I know
again,
that sounds really harsh, but
they were shell-shocked. And then I saw somebody being like, I don't know how to digest this after the game, a journalist. And I thought, it's not bad research, because it's not that you've not tried. It's that we have an inaccessibility issue in world football. And Sarah and I are sat there on a Sunday afternoon with football on one screen, a YouTube stream on the other screen, watching, and then trying to find the Wolfsburg score on the other screen.
Yeah.
And then on our phones searching, like, we are actively trying to access women's world football because we know it's not happening.
Yeah, and that's upsetting in itself. Like, how hard I have to try to watch a game that isn't a WSL or an NWSL game is just so upsetting in the least. And sometimes it's even finding highlights that's even difficult. It's just, the accessibility is disappointing. I will say, to wrap this all up in a really positive note, I think it's so good for the world of women's football, the world of women's soccer, to the points you were making, that Barcelona won. And now I think it's time for us to go
around. Oh, you should do it today. Go on.
No. Come on. You can't change it up on the last episode.
Season.
Around the world, around the world.
I love that word.
Guys, if you work for a label, just hit me up on Twitter. I will be a pop
Tornado,
star.
you already know. Okay, so we are going to Italy for the last time this season. We mentioned last week that Juventus had officially clinched the Serie A title, but there was a race for second place and the only other Champions League spot, since only 2 teams will join the Champions League from Serie A. Milan appeared to have secured their spot in the Champions League. Barring a wild scoreline that'll happen next week, obviously goal difference is key. Milan currently sit in second place, 3 points ahead of Sassuolo, with an 8-goal difference between the two. For Sassuolo to take second place, they'd need Milan to lose, and they'd need to make up an 8-goal deficit.
That's quite a lot.
But also, Sassuolo, can we just have a round of applause for their season?
Absolutely.
It has been a close race for Sassuolo, and as you all know, I'm a big fan. What an amazing season. I know Juventus ran away with it, but in the end it's been an absolute cracker and brilliant. Hopefully from next season they might introduce a third Champions League team, you never know.
Definitely some great places to start next season from for these other clubs. Moving into España, everything seems to have fallen into place in the Spanish league La Primera Iberdrola. The newly crowned Champions League champions Barcelona clinched their league title last weekend, while Real Madrid and Levante, who sit in second and third respectively, have all but secured their Champions League spots. We still have many more weekends of soccer in this league. They'll be playing through June 27th, so just because all of those spots are secured doesn't mean we still won't get some fun matches.
Rumor is, I come with these rumors every week, Tony Duggan is coming back to the WSL.
Wow.
Y'all. So I'm not surprised. She wants a Champions League game, you know?
Yeah.
Will she come back to Man City? No, everyone needs to get over that idea. That's not going to happen. Let's go to France. Is Sara going to make Helen say it again? No, she is not. We all know what's going on in this battle for first, and we'll all be tuning in on May 30th to watch it play out. No upsets this past weekend in the league, as games and scorelines went as we predicted they would go. Lyon are second place again. They take on third place Bordeaux this Friday on May 21st, which that will be a really good game, and Bordeaux will really want to cause another upset. If Bordeaux win that, it's all but gone to PSG, guys.
If Bordeaux win that, we don't have to watch PSG Lyon.
Oh, thank God, because I'm really not that bothered.
I would be so upset if this whole thing has led up to PSG Lyon and then it was actually over before that game happened. Moving into Mexico, oh my favorite league to cover, the league that keeps on giving, if you will. If you don't remember, I'm going to recap it for you. But last week we discovered something about the Mexican League that we really should have known all along, and that is that there's a playoff format in this league. So essentially, the team that wins the league outright isn't the winner. We then go into a playoff format like in the NWSL to determine the actual champion. So while Unal won that league outright, we are now in the playoff stages to determine the ultimate crowning champion of the league. Helen despises this format. Starting in the quarterfinal stage, first place Unal, second place Guadalajara, third place Atlas, and fourth place Monterrey all advanced. Leg 1 of the semifinals was played on Friday and saw 2 ties, actually. Second and third place Guadalajara and Atlas drew at a scoreless 0-0, and then first and fourth place Unal and Monterrey tied 2-2. Leg number 2 of the semifinals is Monday night, so unfortunately that's tonight for us, so we can't give you the scores for that, but that will determine the scorelines for these games, really will determine who advances to the championship.
I'm so excited that you have given me the NWSL.
You're welcome.
The first weekend of games of the regular season has kicked off. Racing Louisville and Kansas City had the honor of the debut game at Racing Louisville's beautiful stadium. We talked at length about that actually in the Footy Fellas pod. You should check it out. We're a big fan of that stadium. Never been, by the way, neither of us, but we will this season. We will. Once COVID is a distant memory. Racing Louisville and Kansas tied 0-0, whilst Gotham FC narrowly squeaked out a win against Houston 1-0 in an exciting matchup. Finally, a battle of previous heavyweights, so OL Reign and the NC Courage tied 0-0. Both of these teams will see strong internationals returning. Mewis and Lavelle, it's official, and Lyon players to OL Reign. Why did you do that face? Are you happy or sad?
Oh, I don't know, actually. I'm pretty happy. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought you'd be really happy. I think they'll probably end up becoming a force this season. And I saw it's completely confirmed now. Mewis is heading back to...
Mewis and Lavelle.
America.
Coming back to America.
Bye-bye, Manchester.
And that's it for our last Around the World. Please enjoy this short advert break.
Have you checked out Total Football Analysis yet? TotalFootballAnalysis.com provides researched analysis on loads of football games, including women's football. Want to know why Miedemar scores so many goals? Do you want to explore how City have turned it around this season? Head over to TotalFootballAnalysis.com and sign up to learn more about the beautiful game. We have a special discount for listeners of the Women's Soccer Show. At checkout, type WOSO10 to get a full year for €10. That's €40 off the yearly subscription. Head over to TotalFootballAnalysis.com and type WOSO10 at checkout.
All right, that is Total Football Analysis. Code is WOSO10, WOSO 10. And just to say again, they did an amazing analysis of the Champions League final. Go check it out. We've reposted that on our Twitter page.
I feel sad, but I think it's also a good opportunity for us to reflect. And we're going to reflect in full over on our Patreon, patreon.com/The Woso Show. But here's a short version of some of my favourite moments of this season. I'm going to start off with your love of Casey Stoney and her outfits. And I just have a question, I guess, for you.
Okay.
Have you improved your style over the season as a direct result of Casey Stoney?
I'm going to say as an indirect result. But definitely she's had influence. You know when you see somebody...
I'm going to say I haven't noticed.
Okay. Not when I speak with you, but just like in general, I would say that it came at a time where I wanted to improve my outfits a little bit, and it was just a little inspiration.
I just had one more thing that I've loved from this season about you. So as well as your style evidently going up, which I've noticed, obviously, I've also noticed your vocabulary has improved.
You've taken one from me here. I was going to say my favorite thing about you is what you've taught me in terms of vocabulary. I have to tell everybody this. I was with somebody the other night and I said something. I wish I could remember what I said. And my friend was like, that's a British phrase. What are you saying? And I texted Helen and I was like, Helen, you'll never guess. I said something. I don't know what I said, but this is what my friend said. She told me I was using a British phrase. And Helen, quote, I'm pleased you're finally learning English. Up on your little British high horse.
Always. I live up here on my high horse.
I just want to say thank you for all of the British idioms. It has been one of my highlights of the season. To learn what a damp squib is, to learn what a quid is. And just, other lovely little phrases like that. I would say my number one was when you, Helen, got called out big time on Twitter with a photo of you at Man City Stadium with an Ellen White shirt on and can no longer hide anymore. She is a Man City fan. We've spent the whole season bringing it to light for everybody to know, and you cannot run and hide anymore, Helen.
This is not acceptable for you to out me in this way. It's just not cool. Can I also just add to that? On a scale, if we're saying 0 is neutral face and 10 is absolutely beyond excited, where on the scale would you put me meeting the 3 Americans in the coffee shop and me at the Manchester City game celebrating Manchester City scoring?
I feel like there were different levels because the Man City was just like pure elation and joy, just like radiating through your eyes. And meeting the US girls, it was like you were trying to keep your cool, but you could still tell that it was all bubbling inside. And so your eyes looked a little crazy. I would rate them both. I would rate City at a 10 and the US girls at like an 8.5.
Oh my God, City beat it. Okay, screw you. And speaking of screw you, one of my highlights has been the major screw you situations on our Twitter. I am a feuder in my nature. So I think my number one feud of the year, kind of still stand by it, and I'm kind of still proud of what I achieved with this one, was the Liverpool women's football team being like in the worst facilities ever, and their men spending £2 million on a firework display, and me being like, give the women equal facilities. The men like announced their £45 million new training facilities, and I was just so furious that I wrote to the government. That's because that is who I am.
We love
everyone.
it. This is why we love her. You started a campaign.
I started a campaign. I got 1,500 signatures. And I wrote to the MP, and it's still ongoing, and I will still stand by. I'm not embarrassed about that, but I did cause a lot of feuds. A lot of men saying, like, get back in the kitchen, but I thrive off that
Lots
stuff.
of fun sexist
Keep
comments.
those insults coming. Oh, I love
They're just
you
fuel
gotta
for her
love them.
fire, fellas. This wasn't the entire list that you are listening to. We went through all of it. That entire list will be on Patreon for you to get to. Helen, we're reaching the end.
No. I refuse.
This is the last episode of our season. We're going to talk really slowly so we can drag this on for a lot longer.
Mike's like, hurry up, for God's sake.
tear-dropping, the last episode of our season. However, we return July 20th. We're going to hit the ground running with the Olympics. We'll still be active over social media, and we'll be dropping new content on Patreon because we've still got some European leagues and we've got the entire NWSL to cover. So look out for the Patreons, some that will be dropping soon. We're going to do a really fun one on penalties, VAR, and just some fun banter around all of that. And Tim will be joining us again as we approach the Olympics to do Team GB and USA roster predictions before those official ones get dropped.
And so that's it from us for this series, season, whatever country you're in, it doesn't matter. We'll be back soon.
Big shout out to Mike Adams, who edits the show, and for everybody who's joined us for segments this season. Thank you all for making this an absolutely incredible season. We've loved it. I love you, Helen.
I love you too, Sarah. Speak to you in the next hour or
I'll
so
text you
about
soon.
some other footballing event.
Thank you all for listening. I've been Sarah.
I've been Helen.
Bye.
Bye.
My stupid announcer keeps calling Kerr Kirby. Like, does he know anything? Jesus fucking Christ. This one's just for you. Don't put this in the episode.